Hello, hello, hello. I'm the Linux Mensch. Today I'm running Arch Linux with the awesome window manager, and I'm going to do some terminal commands. So let's go into the terminal. On Workspace 9, I already have my terminal open, so I'm going to click it on. And these commands are only going to work if you downloaded my zshrc file, which is free for you to download from my GitLab repository. So I'm going to type in the word weather. And there you have it. This is the weather, and it's automatically reading my IP address, so it knows where I live, and it will do the same for you if you download my zshrc file. So let's clear the screen. Now remember, you can clear the screen by typing in clear, or you can hold down the control key and hit L. Now let's just make the font a little larger. I had the font smaller because that's the way that weather formats itself. So let's make it a little larger so it's a bit easier to read. I'm going to hold down the shift button and hit plus. I'm going to do it again. There we go. That's nice and large, easy to read. So let's say I want to make a new directory. In my home folder, we're going to make a new directory called help. So I'm going to do mkdir HELP, and it created a new directory. So let's type in ls, and you can see right here it has a new directory called help. Now let's cd into it. So I'm going to cd into help. Now I'm in the directory. I could type in ls, and you can see there's nothing there. Let's make a file. I'm going to type in touch test text. So now I just created a blank file in my help directory called test. Let's ls it, and you can see on the far left, test text is there, but it's blank inside. So let's vim into it and type out something. So I'm going to do vim, and you can use nano or any other text editor. Vim test, and it's blank. So I'm going to type in, this is my first test. I'm going to save the file, and let's cat it. Cat test. Remember, cat allows you to see inside a file without changing anything. You can't change anything or damage anything within the file. And there it is. This is my first test. Now, let's say I want to delete that file. So I'm going to type in remove -f. The F is to remove it by force. Test. Now it's going to remove it. Now by ls, what's in the directory? There's nothing in the directory. Now let's create a file and delete it without using the F flag. Touch to make a file. Let's do call it test 2. Text ls. Now we can see I have a file called test2 in my help directory. Now let's remove it without the F flag. rm test2. So now it's going to ask me remove regular empty file, and remember the file is empty because in the second test I didn't go in and type anything. Remove regular empty file test2 text, and I click on yes, and now it's removed. Now you can see the help folder is empty. Now let's create another file called test3. Touch test 3 text. Let's vim into it. Let's type in this is my third test. Let's save the file. Let's cat it just to make sure it was saved properly. This is my third test. Okay, so let's say I want to change the name of test 3 to test 4. I'm going to type in move test 3 to test 4, query text. Now it's asking me correct test 4 to test 3. It's thinking I made a mistake. I'm going to say no. So let's ls, and there it is. The file name is changed to test 4. So let's say we want to move test 4 file from my help folder into my home directory. So I'm going to type in move test 4 to squiggly slash, and I'm going to hit enter. So now we can see my help directory is empty. Let's cd back into my home directory, type in ls, and now test 4 is in my home directory. It's not in the help directory anymore. Now let's say we want to leave test 4 in my home directory, but we also want to make a copy of it to be in my help directory. So I'm going to type in cp test 4 squiggly line slash help, and I'm going to enter. So now let's ls. I'm still in my home directory and test 4 is still there. Now let's cd into my help directory. Now I'm in my help directory. Let's ls it, and test 4 is there as well. Now let's say I want to reboot. Let's just get out of my help directory. Let's clear the screen. Remember, it's Control L. I want to reboot. Hit enter, it's going to reboot, but I don't want to do that. Let's say I want to shut down. Shut down is one word. Leave a space and type now. If you don't type now, it's going to put a counter in, and it's going to take maybe a minute or two. I forget what the counter is because I don't use it. I always use the now flag. So if you shut down now, it's going to shut down the whole system right now. But I don't want to do that either. So let's delete that. So I plugged in a USB thumb drive into my hard drive, and now I want to see it. So I'm going to type in lsblk and hit enter. Now, first of all, I'm running Arch Linux in a virtual machine. So if we highlight this, that is my virtual machine. So the drive is called VDA, and V is for virtual. It's a 40 gig hard drive. I have a 200 meg boot partition and a 39.8 gig partition for the rest of the drive. On top, and I'm just going to highlight it, on top is my USB thumb drive. It's called SDA, and it's a 7.5 gig hard drive. Well, it's actually an 8 gig hard drive, or sorry, an 8 gig USB thumb drive. And that's it there. So let's say I want to mount it in the terminal and log into my USB drive from the terminal. Type in this command, and again, this command will only work if you downloaded my zshrc file from my GitLab repository. I'm going to type in mount. It's going to ask for my password. Okay, so let's clear the screen. Control L. Let's lsblk it. So now we can see that my SDA drive is now mounted, and you can see this word mount here. Now let's CD into it. So I'm going to CD /mnt. Now I'm inside my USB drive within the terminal. Let's see if there's anything in there. So I have 2 files in my USB drive. My USB drive is empty except for these 2 files. And let's cat one of them. Let's cat Y. And Y is empty. Let's cat test. Test from PCman FM. And in that file, I have it written, hello, how are you? Now let's say I want to move that file from my USB drive onto my hard drive. So I'm going to move this file called test from PCman FM. I'm going to move it into my hard drive and we'll see if it works. Now, when removing things between the USB and the hard drive, in the terminal, you have to use your sudo command. So I'm going to type in, and actually I'm not going to move it, I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to type in sudo cp for copy, test. I'm going to do my squiggly line. I have to find out what that's called. I know there's a technical name for that. Slash. So I'm typing in sudo cp for copy, the file name, leave a space, slash, squiggly line slash. I'm going to hit enter. Now let's see if it moved. So let's cd out of there. Let's clear the screen. This time I'm going to clear it by typing in the word clear. And let's ls. Now I'm lsing my hard drive. And there it is. On the top left-hand side, right here. Test from PCman FM. Now let's see if we can see what's inside of it. So let's clear the screen, Control L. Let's cat test from. And there it is. Hello, how are you? Now let's say I want to unmount my USB drive. I'm going to type in this command. And again, this particular command will only work if you downloaded my zshrc file from my GitLab repository. So let's clear the screen. Let's just do an LSBLK again. And as you can see, my 8 gig drive is mounted. Right here, you can see it's mounted. So let's unmount it. I'm going to type in umount. Now it's not unmount with the N, UN mount. You got to leave the N out. It's umount. So let's see if it unmounted it. LSBLK. So now you can see my USB drive is still showing here, but it's not mounted anymore. See, the word mount / mount is gone from the drive. So now the drive is no longer mounted. Now let's say I want to power off the drive. I'm going to type in this command. And again, this command will only work if you downloaded my zshrc file from my GitLab repository. I'm going to type in the word power off. Hit enter. Now let's LSBLK it. LSBLK. And as you can see, the USB drive is no longer showing up in my terminal. All I have here is my VDA drive, because this is a virtual machine, my 40 gig VDA drive. So let's clear the screen. This time I'm going to type in clear. You can also hold down the control key and hit L. Let's say I want to change my user password. I'm going to type in passwd. Don't forget to leave out the O and the R. Match. I'm going to hit enter and it's going to ask me to put my new password in. And I'm not going to do that. Let's say I want to change the root password. I'm going to type in sudo password without the O and without the R. Root. I'm going to hit enter and it's going to ask me to change the root password. And of course, it's going to ask me to do it twice, but I don't want to do that. So let's say you want to change the host name of this computer. So this computer is called Arch Installer. I am mensch at Arch Installer. And Arch Installer is the host name. So let's say I want to change that. So we're going to type in sudo vim. You can also type in nano or use any other text editor. You can even use a text editor from the GUI to do this. So I'm going to type in sudo vim /etc/hostname. I'm going to hit enter. So now I'm going to change it from Arch installer to my computer. I'm going to save the file and I'm going to reboot. So the system is rebooting, and when I log in, my new host name is going to be my computer. Now my name is going to be the same because I didn't change my name. So my name is still Mensch. I'm going to put my password in. I'm going to just reset this so it's a little larger print for you to see. I'm going to open up my terminal. I'm going to use my mouse just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make it a bit larger. So I'm going to hold down the shift button and hit the plus button. There we go. So now you can see I am Mensch at my computer. I changed it from Arch installer to my computer. Another thing I want to show you how to do is to make a new alias. So earlier I showed you how to change the host name, and the command was this: sudo vim etc host name. And then we went into the file and we changed it. But let's say you didn't want to type all this out, or let's say you're worried about forgetting how to do this. And this is even more important when commands are much longer. And there are a lot of commands that are much longer. Some commands are 10 words with slashes in them and dashes in them and so forth. So that's why I like to make aliases in my zshrc file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my zshrc file. I'm going to alter it. I'm going to put command for this, and I'm going to call it change name. So let's delete that. So let's go into my zshrc file. I'm going to type in vim .zshrc. And these are all my aliases here. Let's just find a spot at the bottom. So I'm at the bottom of my aliases, and I'm going to make a quick command to change my host name, and I'm going to call it host. So I'm going to type in alias host. So the word host is going to be the quick command. Equals sudo, because I think we need sudo to change the host name. So there's going to be sudo in there, vim etc host name. So there's the command. So all I'm going to do now is when I close the file, if I type in host, it's going to put all that stuff in. So let's save the file. Let's clear the screen. Let's type in. So in order for the new alias to take effect, you either have to shut your terminal down and reopen it, which is the easiest way to do it, or you could type in this command: source period zshrc. Let's clear the screen and let's type in my new command is host. And ask for my password. And there I am. I'm in that file and I can change the name. So now I'm out of the file, and there's another command I'd like to show you, and I may have already shown you this in my previous terminal video, but I'll do it again. It's a simple command. It's called history. So it's going to show the previous commands I did in my terminal. If I want to see the full list, I'm going to type in history 1. And now you can scan up and you can see all the commands I've done in the terminal. Control L to clear the screen, or you can always type in clear. Anyhow, I hope this video was helpful and you learned some things from it. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to hit that button to subscribe to the channel. I am the Linux Mensch.